Not very long ago, the church was a well-recognized institution of authority. Their views on all matters concerning the people were important and valued. All policies and political reforms would not be made before their opinion was considered. In the recent past, however, this hallowed institution has become an object of jest, ridicule, greed, and personal benefit. False prophecy and fake prosperity are the new song that most of these church leaders are singing. The people have lost faith in the church and in its doctrines. Very disturbed by this phenomenon, we set out as a group to find whether in the midst of all this there was a church, any church, that still upheld the standards of a Christian institution. We needed to find a true church that had stuck to the doctrines and the teachings of the Bible. We gave questionnaires, we asked around, and MAVUNO Hill City was a top suggestion in our answers. But we wouldn't take only their word for it, we would do the vetting ourselves as well. Meet Mark Ndwati, a young youth pastor at MAVUNO. He helped us learn more about its vision, its background, its mission, and general overview. Then we would delve into deeper matters.
Could you introduce yourself to us?
So my name is Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at MAVUNO. More specifically, I'm a pastor with the young people, and we call ourselves MAVUNO Young and Fearless.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your background in ministry?
So my background in ministry is basically I've done Christian ministry. Then I started off as a youth pastor when I was like 21 years old. So for the last 14 years, that's what I've done, with a bit of kids ministry in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get to MAVUNO?
By walking, kidding. The first time I heard about MAVUNO was through a friend of mine who had come to MAVUNO. So they, as a visitor, they used to give you a CD to listen to. So he came home with the CD. When I listened to the preaching, I was like, this is interesting, it's different. I've never had a Kenyan church someone sound like that. So that's how I first heard about MAVUNO.
Could you tell us about MAVUNO's background as a church?
Okay. MAVUNO's background as a church started off in 2005 of Nairobi Chapel. So Nairobi Chapel is the mother church, or the sending church, if you will. So what happened is Pastor Oscar, who's Bishop Oscar now, decided to break up the church into 5 different churches and send them across the city. So there's a church that went to Eastlands, which is now MAVUNO Mashariki. They went to Ngando. They left Mamlaka where it is, and then we were sent to south of the city. So we went to South Sea area. That's where MAVUNO was planted. And that was the beginning of it. And grew significantly because of their target. They targeted young people, so that became a unique strength to MAVUNO.
So MAVUNO targets young people?
Yes, MAVUNO target not just young people, young and urban. A young and urban Nairobian, preferably between the age of 25 to 35, but we've kind of changed it to almost maybe 45 because of the dynamics that have changed since we started.
Does that mean that there's a whole compartmentalization of your congregation in the church? That the church is open to this and this kind of, demographic?
Yeah, I think what we've learned is that if you want to be successful in ministry, you have to have a specific reach. Even Jesus, he came with an intention to reach the Jews specifically.
Really?
Yes, and then after that, all of us else came into the plan. But his primary plan was to reach the lost house of Israel. And if you remember, there was a story about the Phoenician woman when they were on the table, and then there was some stuff that fell down, some breadcrumbs. So when she came to ask Jesus, Jesus was like, I didn't come to save you, I came for the lost house of Israel. And then the woman responded and said, I can even partake of I just need the breadcrumbs, I don't need the whole meal. And then Jesus turned to her and said, your faith, your prayer is answered because of your faith, basically. Yeah.
So what's the vision of the church, GB?
The vision is very simple. It is planting a culture-defining church in every capital city of Africa and the gateway cities of the world by 2035.
And the mission?
The mission comes off from the Great Commission, which is Matthew 28, 18 to 20. And we kind of twisted it a bit for it to be relevant to the people we are reaching. So it is turning ordinary people into fearless influencers of society.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what sets MAVUNO apart? What makes it different from other churches?
I feel like it's really not different from other churches, but probably there are things that stand out. At the heart, at the core, we are like any other church. We've been called to reach the lost. Yeah. It's just that we are what you may call a seeker-sensitive church. So whereas any church would inherit other believers from other churches, we seek to go to the harvest. What that means is to go to where people are not churched. We reach the unchurched. People would not necessarily go to church, who would go to the club on Friday and sleep in on Saturday and Sunday, that kind of a thing. So we target the person who on a Sunday morning would be nursing a hangover. Yeah.
So what's interesting about Pastor Mark?
Anything interesting about me? I think, first of all, I think my middle name is weird. Yeah, because I don't fit into the bill of a pastor. Yeah, I don't like wearing shirts and ties and coats. I just like being me and having fun with everything that I do. Another interesting fact is that I'm a creative.
Okay.
Yeah, so that poses a different challenge as a pastor. Yeah. What else? I love young people to death. Yes, I love young people. If you cut me, I think I'll bleed young people. That's what I eat, live, think. Yeah. Another maybe interesting thing about me is I've been married for 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any personal challenges when it comes to ministry? Other places you feel the crowd?
I think my personal challenges may be believing in myself. At times, there are things that God believes you can do, but when you look at yourself, you're like, I'm just plain old me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one of my challenges. Another one would be keeping up with the kids. Maybe 5 years ago or 7 years ago it was easier. It gets harder every day as I'm getting older. Yeah, this generation Z has a different challenge to it. Yeah, because I've seen a couple of generations pass. Yeah, so another one. Okay, another one would be like wanting to make money. As a pastor, you dreaming to be rich is a dream that only God can fulfill.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to. It has made me think of very different ways of making money, ways that don't need me to be there physically, but yeah. So things like investments, starting businesses and stuff like that. Yeah.
So why did you settle for MAVUNO? Why?
Did I settle for MAVUNO? I think MAVUNO settled for me.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Because I don't think I had ever sat down and said I want to be at MAVUNO.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard about it, but I'd never. So what happened was I was in a transition. I was a youth pastor at some different place, and then I tendered my resignation. I was moving on. I'd actually joined even another church for like a year, and then I received a call. They were like, "Hey, we've been given your number. We have an interesting program called Discovery, and would like to invite you to come on board." So it's a 1-year leadership program. Yeah, so that's how I got to MAVUNO. So I applied for it. I got in. So that's a part I think MAVUNO came into the picture first before I approached it. How I decided to stay on is after the year I was like, this is a church that I like because of two things. One, they loved young people. I love young people. Two, they loved Africa. I love Africa. I was like, I'm home.
Is this a forever thing? Are you gonna be here for a long time?
I think marriage is a forever thing. Ministry can never be a forever thing. Yeah, so I believe for this season, as long as God allows me to be here, I'll be here. Yeah.
Okay, so what challenges does MAVUNO face while trying to reach these young people?
I think the question should be, which challenge have we not faced? The challenges have been there from day one, because our approach, we decided to reach a group of people no one reaches, or many would dream for them to be reached, but no one risked or takes the risk to reach them. So as I told you, we focus on someone who's would be nursing a hangover on Sunday morning, or someone who's recently divorced and they don't have any hope, or someone who's lost hope in life because of the things that they've gone through. So we look for those people who are broken in society, who are addicted, like the ones you don't want to touch. Those are the guys we love reaching out to. Yeah, so because of our love of reaching out to the people who society does not reach out to, we find ourselves in a place where, first of all, the audience is not ready for you. They're like, I don't need God, why are you in my face? Get out of here. So it's not an easy place to be, or an easy person to try and reach out to come to your space, or to come to church, or to get saved, or that kind of a thing. The other one is we use different methods because of that challenge of I'm not interested in church. We go a step further and say, so what can we do so that you may come to church and find it appealing to you? Some may use the word sexy, like find church attractive, that kind of a thing. Yeah, so we tailor make everything that we do, from the services, how they look like, how the music sounds and looks like, how we do the services. We don't allow anyone to just come onto the pulpit and say, oh, these are the announcements, and just say it in a boring manner. So we choose to to have 2 MCs who will host you for the service. Okay. Yeah. So by the time you're there, if you hear the music, you will be like, yeah, I'm liking this. So that helps us with that challenge. The other challenge is financially, initially, because they are young, they don't understand tithing and offering and all this type of thing. So convincing them to give is a whole situation, because ministry is expensive, and you need to, especially because of the group you are reaching, you really need to invest into what you're doing. And because of that, you end up in a space where you have to devise a way to come up with these guys to be able to learn how to give. Yeah. So the solution there is, normally we do Mizizi, and Mizizi just handles a lot of issues: your God situation, your financial situation, your social justice situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Now that we had learned the basics, it was time to ask the hard questions.
So there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the church. Is this a rich people church to start there? Do you target just the rich in society?
There are rich people here, but we don't target rich people. Yeah. So it's basically what happens is, because in fact, the people we reach out to are younger of age, from 25 to 35. So no one at that age is really rich. People get richer after, like 35 to 45 to 50. So most of them, when they come and we start off with them, they are not that rich. So it's a result. So that's why people think people are rich, or we are a church of rich people. The other thing is that inside the campus we have a Swahili speaking service. And if you go to that space, they are not rich people. They are local people from the neighborhood, and we have created a space for them specifically to reach out to them.
I was going to ask you about that actually. Why is there a segregation of people
Segregation?
Yes, people who can understand Swahili and others who cannot. And they are set apart very distinctly, like literally on two sides of the church. What is that about?
I think because earlier when I told you we reach out to specific needs, we believe in need-based outreach. So when they came initially, they would struggle themselves. They don't understand English. We are used to preaching in English. So instead of now starting to learn how to preach in Kiswahili, or them learning English, it's very easy for just us to create a space where they will be comfortable. In fact, they are the ones who asked for the space. We didn't just create it because we thought we don't want to deal with you. Yeah.
So is there a notable difference in, for example, offerings from the English side to the Swahili side? Because there's a lot of that going around.
Oh, definitely. There's a notable difference between what they would give and what the rest would give. And it's because of, basically, they are at a different space of financial income. They're at a different space. But when we receive it, we never look at it that we receive it as God's people have given. Yeah.
Okay. Also want to ask about the fact that you people do not build churches anymore.
What do we do?
You literally set up tents, and which is a whole good idea, but don't you think that the preservation of the culture of the church should start by building churches and not just setting up temporary? Because even the Bible says we should actually set up a respectable place for God, not to say that tents are not respectable.
Have you been in our tents? Have you been in our spaces?
I have been there.
Have you seen how they look like?
Yeah, but still.
Do you like it?
I do.
How many churches have you gone to which are buildings?
I am Catholic, so
so,
lots of us are.
So do you think the way we set up, does it look better than a building?
You see, my question is about the culture of the church. As in, I come here 100 years from now, I want to see there was a MAVUNO here.
Oh, that's what you mean. Definitely, that's eventually the plan.
So there's a plan.
Yeah, the plan is definitely you can't have a house and refuse to build. And even this one we're in right now is part of the building that is coming along. The reason as to why we set up tents is because it's a cheaper way to start a church. Starting a church is a pretty expensive affair. So like the place we are in right now, this land when we were coming here cost 10 million per acre. So these are 20 acres. So that's 200 million or $2 million if you like. So we are still in the process of clearing the payment for that. So when that happens, the next phase will kick in. Yeah. So the plan is to build, but we find tents, they're not even that cheap because these tents are also expensive. It's just that especially here it's hot. So if we would have put up mabati structures, it would have been even. What works around here are warehouses, which is even hotter. Yeah.
So there has been a lot of rumors going around that there's a lot of Illuminati whatever happening in your church.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
I think that specific issue, I'd love to answer it and answer it once and for all. Because what we discovered was that rumor was spread by a pastor in the neighborhood. They didn't understand us. So they have never seen a church our size just come by land and set up and do that. So, and then on Sunday, hundreds of cars come in and then they just leave. So the people around had questions. They had never seen this type of church. And the answer that he said is because you go there, you become rich. So the only thing you can do is sacrifice. Go there, sacrifice someone and become rich. So people have come knocking on our doors and they're like, Pastor, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to sacrifice my child to become rich. We don't take it badly because they've come to church. So it's an opportunity to tell them about the truth and about Jesus. But at some point it gets tiring because we hoped by now, I think we are 4 or 5 years here, by now people would have known that we are a legit church, but still there are people who come all the way from almost Mombasa. They drive all the way here because of the desperation they have. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're responsible for that? Do you feel like people hold you to your characteristics? Whatever you put out there, people tend to assume that it's the truth. So like, because your church is flocked with a lot of rich people,
Yeah.
do you feel like you're responsible for some of that as a church?
I think what we are responsible over is what we communicate. And we've never communicated that we are a rich church. Nothing in our way we do stuff communicates that we are rich people. I think because of the demographic of this place is that probably the rich is like 2%, and then the rest of the people are people in the lower income area. They would easily think certain things, and if you go out looking for certain things, you'll find the answer, be it right or wrong. Right. So I don't think it's our responsibility to try and explain to people why rich people come to our church.
Even as a church?
I don't think so. I don't think, even if you look at the life of Jesus, Jesus was accused of stuff. He was accused of hanging out with sinners and prostitutes and tax collectors. Jesus never went out and said that, oh, this is the reason. He never did PR.
Isn't that being taken a little too out of context in today's world?
How? Like the excuse of Jesus hanged out with sinners. I don't think so, because if Jesus lived in our context, I think most of the religious institutions that we've set up wouldn't make sense to him. Yeah, he was a simple guy. He hung out with people, preached to them about God, did miracles, and that's it.
Finally, is this church a Mzungu project, or is it all done by
Kenyan by Kenyan for Kenya?
Yeah.
We are completely Mzungu independent. We are Kenyan by Kenyan for Kenyans. And the best thing is that we, in fact, have churches from abroad who come to learn from us how we do ministry. So one of the visions that our senior pastor, Pastor Mwangi, has is that we make partnerships. We do not make sponsor or donor relationships. So any church that is involved with MAVUNO is a partner church. Yeah. So we tried as much as to remove that African thing that when a pastor goes abroad is going to get funds for sponsoring their church and helping the poor and have those ads where there's a fly on the face, that kind of a thing. So I think one of the things that we know we are blessed in is the area of discipleship. And some of the tools that we've come up with for discipleship have gone outside the country, have been translated into different languages. So that's what attracts some of the people to our church. And they become partners. It's a give relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you tell people out there who are scared of coming to Mavuno because they think it's totally out of their league? And is it?
What I normally say is, if you don't understand something, one, don't talk about it. Two, investigate. Find out why are people talking about this thing. And the best way, come and check us out. Come to our services, come listen to a sermon. Don't allow people to tell you stuff about us. Come and hear for yourself. Come and see for yourself. Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us in your office. We totally appreciate that you made time.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming, and I pray that whatever you do in your studies and everything, that you'll succeed in them, and that you'll be amazing.